The expansive automobile showroom glistened with brilliant lights, adorned with billboards and banners enticing visitors to consider a new car purchase. Bella entered hesitantly, navigating through the lobby adorned with pristine vehicles until she reached the reception desk. Behind the desk, a young woman engrossed in applying lipstick while glancing in the mirror reacted unhappily to Bella's soft cough. "What do you want?" she inquired rudely. Bella, feeling embarrassed, stammered, "I'm here for an internship from the head office. Here are my papers." The administrator, seemingly uninterested, called out for someone named Anthony to attend to the newcomer. A stylishly dressed young man, identified as Anthony, ambled over to the reception desk, greeted Bella, and gave her an assessing look. "I'm Anthony, senior manager. Are you joining us for an internship?" Bella nodded, and Anthony instructed her to follow him as he guided her through the intricacies of the car dealership. As they walked, Bella observed the showroom and noticed several perplexed visitors seeking assistance. Questioning why no one was attending to them, she was met with Anthony's dismissive response. "Those aren't real buyers," he explained. "They wander around all day, asking countless questions, distracting us, and then leave without making a purchase." Perplexed, Bella inquired, "Distract you from what?" Anthony, growing impatient, retorted, "If you're the smartest one here, go start working. You'll learn in the process." Taking his advice, Bella approached a man inspecting an affordable SUV, adeptly detailing the car's features and suggesting a higher-class alternative. Eventually, the man decided on a purchase, marking Bella's first successful sale, much to the amazement of the watching managers. "Congratulations! Well done!" cheered Anthony, acknowledging the achievement, albeit with a hint of sarcasm. The atmosphere shifted when a wealthy-looking man entered, prompting all the managers, including Anthony, to flock to him eagerly. Despite their efforts, the potential customer left without making a purchase, leaving the managers disheartened and still ignoring other, more modestly dressed buyers in the hall. A lone young man diligently attended to the clients, responding to their inquiries and presenting various options. Despite most clients leaving with promises to contemplate their purchases, the young man remained undeterred and dedicated to his work. Intrigued, Bella questioned Anthony about his identity. "That's Henry, the new guy. Seems like he's always on the move, making it look like he's busier than anyone else," Anthony explained with a hint of annoyance. A modestly dressed elderly woman entered the showroom, searching for assistance. Spotting the girl at the receptionist's desk, she approached with hope and requested help. The administrator, in a contemptuous tone, suggested calling an ambulance, eliciting laughter from her colleagues. Undeterred, the elderly woman clarified that she wanted to buy a car. Excitedly, the receptionist alerted the managers to the new customer, prompting them to make jokes at the elderly woman's expense. Hearing the disrespectful remarks, Henry became incensed. "Have you no shame? Show some respect for her age. Don't you have grandmothers of your own?" he chided. Anthony responded mockingly, dismissing the elderly woman based on her appearance and income. Unfazed, Henry approached the woman, who had left the dealership without assistance and now sat wearily on a nearby bench. Finally, he and Bella reached her. "Are you feeling unwell?" Henry asked sympathetically. The elderly woman, Mrs. Grace, reassured them with a smile, acknowledging her infrequent well-being due to age. Bella inquired about her visit, prompting Mrs. Grace to share her poignant story. Mrs. Grace had lost her only son due to a senseless dispute. Despite initial warmth in their relationship, he tragically passed away in the north, leaving behind a family she had never met. Mrs. Grace suffered a heart attack upon hearing the news and spent over a month in the hospital, missing her son's funeral. It had been 15 years since then, and she had never met her grandson. Due to her health limitations, Mrs. Grace couldn't embark on extensive travels, yet she tenaciously set aside a portion of her pension for a special purpose. Her long-cherished dream involved surprising her grandson with an extravagant gift, an expensive car. Over the course of 15 years, through frugal living, she amassed a substantial sum. Recently, her 18-year-old grandson called to announce his impending visit, prompting Mrs. Grace to consider buying the car she had always envisioned. Expressing her lack of knowledge about cars, Mrs. Grace concluded her tale with a touch of sadness. In response, Henry, displaying decisive initiative, extended his hand to Mrs. Grace. "Fortunately, I know everything about cars. let's go. I'll show you and explain everything. Together, we'll select something worthwhile for your grandson." Bella observed with a smile as Henry, delicately assisting the elderly woman, guided her through rows of gleaming cars, providing straightforward explanations along the way. Meanwhile, other managers engaged in juvenile banter. Although Bella overheard their remarks, she refrained from responding and continued to observe Henry's interactions from a distance. Ultimately, Mrs. Grace, guided by Henry's recommendations, chose a relatively pricey sports car and proceeded to the administrator to finalize the purchase. Henry, demonstrating consideration for Mrs. Grace's pensioner status, approached Chloe with a request for a discount, given that she was paying in full. Chloe, begrudgingly dismissing the idea, insisted there was no such rule and that Mrs. Grace wouldn't become a regular customer. Frustrated, Mrs. Grace affirmed that she had saved for 15 years for this specific car and had no intention of making additional purchases. Bella suggested consulting the owner for approval, but Chloe resisted, fearing potential repercussions. Unperturbed, Bella turned to Henry, encouraging him to make the call. Henry, obtaining the owner's number from Chloe, dialed the phone. As the conversation unfolded, the managers were dumbfounded to hear Bella, the intern, responding on the other end. Miss Allison, the owner, was already aware of the situation and addressed Henry's concerns, leaving everyone astonished at Bella's unexpected involvement. "Chloe, promptly arrange a 15% discount for Mrs. Grace, and starting tomorrow, you're terminated." She then addressed the stunned managers, led by Anthony. "To you, my dear employees, I issue a reprimand with a note in your personal file and revoke your bonuses. Consider this your final warning. I have no use for lazy and arrogant employees like you, so this is your last chance. Henry, thank you for your outstanding work. You are a compassionate, considerate, and skilled professional. As of today, you are promoted to senior manager. Do you accept?" Henry nodded in astonishment. Mrs. Grace thanked Bella with a smile and congratulated Henry. A year had passed since that memorable day. Bella frequented her salon openly. Henry efficiently managed the team, significantly boosting the dealership's profitability. Together with Bella, he often engaged in private discussions about enhancing the quality of car sales. Over time, Henry realized that the professional meetings were not enough. He found himself blushing and stumbling over words in front of Bella, chiding himself. "I'm a mumbler. Why is confessing my love so difficult?" Yet, he reasoned, "It's futile. I'm just a manager in her business. I'm not worthy of her. It's better not to embarrass myself." One day, Bella invited Henry to a restaurant for a business discussion. As Henry waited, he decided it was time to confess his feelings, or let them go forever. Bella, simple and elegant as always, looked stunning. "Henry, I'm very impressed with your work. I've decided to appoint you as the director of the car dealership. Do you accept?" Bella anticipated joy or satisfaction, but Henry's response was unexpected. "I'm sorry, Bella, I have to decline. I want you to sign my letter of resignation." Perplexed, Bella asked, "Why? What happened, Henry? Have I offended you?" With burning eyes and a voice torn with excitement, Henry confessed, "Bella, I can no longer keep my feelings inside. I love you. I fell in love with you from the first time we met, when I thought you had come for an internship." Bella smiled slowly. "Oh, is that the issue? I've been waiting for 6 months for you to confess. It was awkward for me to take the first step. You're slow in expressing your feelings, Henry." The young man, confused, asked, "So you're not rejecting me?" "Of course not. More than that, I have feelings for you too, but it's awkward for a girl to be the first to express her feelings." "Then I'm resigning even more," Henry declared firmly. "You're the boss, and I'm the hired help. It's an incongruity. I must first earn my name and fortune to be deserving of you." Bella, unable to contain herself, burst into laughter. "Henry, you're such a child, a dreamer and a determined one at that. Thanks to your efforts, my car dealership has achieved the profits that every owner dreams of. You've made me considerably wealthier. You're the director now, no arguments. And by the way, you're also the love of my life." After a moment, she slyly added, "Darling, persistence is key. Courage conquers cities." 6 months later, Henry and Bella celebrated a grand wedding with all the dealership employees in attendance. Former senior manager Anthony, observing Henry's happiness, couldn't help but feel envious and muttered to himself, "What a fortunate guy. I should have been in his shoes. However, the newlyweds were blissfully content, unaffected by the jealousy of others.